You're muted, Jay.
Thank you, Jen. Welcome everybody to the October 17th, formerly OSCAL norms recording, newly cloud native OSCAL meeting. Today we're going to focus on what happened in the STAG meeting yesterday. The project was accepted. There's some modifications. Wanted to go over that as well as maybe some next steps. We're lucky to have Eddie here. I don't know for how long, but since I don't know how long, I'll hand it over to Eddie to kind of give us a view of what like some of the next steps might be, and if he has to go, then I can.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Run, yeah. Just pull me in where you need me.
Okay. Let's see. So I think yesterday went really well. There was a lot of good engagement. I felt that everybody on the call was, interested in the same outcome that brought us all together in the first place. So it was a matter of like, how are we going to achieve this? What would the outcome being like, we need these things to happen in OSCAL so that everybody can be successful with it. But like the how do we achieve that? We discussed that, and like some, there's different paths to that, and then who owns what out of that. And out of that discussion, it became clear that it's probably best for, like, if we were to make an API exchange specification, and there was some consternation over the wording there. Jen, you remember when we were coming up with that wording in the first place, and we were not necessarily confident there. So, but regardless, let's say we make that, then who owns that? Who maintains that type of thing? So as a result, trying to keep this short. If you guys want to watch the recording's available. But the end result is we should influence NIST to create these things. We might gift some of this to NIST, but it really comes down to influencing NIST to commit to doing these things or accepting these things. So Eddie had proposed that, and shortening it down, compacting it as a love letter to NIST. I thought that was a great way to put it. So I'm going to keep saying that. So this would be an official STAG project. So that letter would be coming from Tag Security to NIST, and as a result, we feel like that would have I'm going to go with gravitas that would be needed to sway them, to make their heart flutter, because it's a love letter. So that's kind of where we landed yesterday. And Eddie stepped up to be, what was it called again?
Yeah, you need a STAG representative to sponsor an official project.
Yeah, that he said he would do that. So what are some next steps, Eddie, that we might take? I put some more in first, and then I'll join you.
Yeah. I realized why. I was like, why don't I have any meetings right now? I'm just totally free. It's lunch, that's why. So housekeeping. We need to create, it's a pseudo charter, right? We need to create a README that describes this effort and throw it into the project repo. The contents of that need to be fairly detailed around like what we plan on doing. And I think what we discussed yesterday was that it would be 2 steps The first step being the exploration, research, and experimentation. And then the second step would be creating a white paper. Does that kind of fit?
Yeah. As I said yesterday, you guys know more than me, and we understand the outcome and agree on that. So I will take your advice on how to get there. So yeah.
Then we will want to create an LFX meeting that we can put onto the calendar for this. So I'll need to make the request for that, but you'll need to make sure that I actually do it. So that's a service desk request for a new project meeting. And then, well, we might as well just open up the docs because we have this written down. After that, I hate that we have this. It's kind of, the docs are kind of split up into different places. Here, is there anything else to talk about while I find the documentation for this?
Maybe I was thinking, who do we need to I'll use air quotes, market to be able to get the type of engagement that we need to make it successful. I felt like we had like a really rounded group yesterday at the tag meeting, but I think Eddie, you had mentioned that you had done work with Finos. So do we need to do like cross foundation type of work here where we involve them as well? Would that be a next step?
Fortunately, I am them. So yeah, I already let that team know. In fact, Michaela was on a call this morning, and I let her know, like, hey, this project is going to be doing all of our OSCAL exploration. We're going to be doing through the CNCF tag moving forward. The issue there is that most of the folks, there might be a couple guys from London Stock Exchange who are still interested in doing the research, but it's mostly fizzled up. Most everybody who's looked at OSCAL from that group has just like tapped out. They're just like, this seems like a good idea. We don't know how we would make it useful to our users. And so right now there's not a lot of energy from that side. So it's probably going to be me and maybe a guy named Leroy might want to come over. But once we have something a little bit more tangible, Microsoft, the Azure team at Microsoft has some folks who have contributed to OSCAL in the past, and they've expressed a desire to help shape this. But I was given a warning by the person who made that introduction, one of the Finos contributors who made that introduction, that these guys will come to one single meeting, and if there's not a clear path to high impact, then they're not coming to a second meeting. And so I was like, okay, we won't invite them to the opening calls, which is a fair thing to know. But that'll be really good to like have some people who have experience doing, like, writing OSCAL on the NIST, making contributions to the NIST standard. And those introductions will come from the Finos side. But I think I don't have a vision right now for like any extra work that we would do in this context. I'll kick it back to the group.
Jen, was kind of like the end result of what you were asking is, who else do we want to sign the love letter?
Yes, exactly. Who should sign the letter?
Okay. Yeah. In that case,
I don't know that they necessarily need to do the work. I just want them, like, if we could get like the big names to sign and say, yeah, we need we need that.
Yeah. Then yeah, I can help with that.
I mean, it's cool also if they want to actually do some work. That's not going to be unwelcome. But
I think yeah, I have all the notes on the pain points. And it's exactly the same pain points that you were kind of outlining, where it's like they're frankly, I want to view NIST as it, because Michaela like comes to these calls and contributes, right? Like I don't want this to be like us versus NIST, like we're trying to convince NIST of something, right? Like that's moreover, like I want to work with Michaela. I want to work with the financial institutions. I want to work with the Red Hats and IBMs of the world to find out like how can we address these common pain points without disregarding the lessons that they've already considered, right? They've been doing this for years. There's things that they've thought about, that they've considered. We don't want to disregard those. We want to have those at the table also.
I thought it was great that you had said love letter, because that immediately kind of, you know, even though it's a little bit of a hyperbole, it does point in that direction so far that like it acknowledges like, no, like there's good stuff there, and right. So that's one of the reasons why I intend to keep using it. Also, it'll make Michaela smile if we say that.
That's funny.
I call her Dr. OSCAL on a regular basis. So
okay, so once a project's active, we have this piece of documentation. Right there. And then I think the only other big one is that template that you already opened up. We just got to make sure that we do the things in there. Is everybody, I assumed because you were presenting, is Jay the project lead? Is there a consensus on that? Do those present, am I, do we need to open up a vote? How about this? Can I get a raise of hands? I am nominating Jay as the lead. If anybody has concerns, do not raise your hand at this time. Oh, I got a half hand from Hannah. What was that? Half lifted? You're like, I don't know.
I was thrown off by the don't raise your hand. I was trying to figure
If
out
you
if
have
or
concerns,
not.
raise your hand. Do you have any concerns with deciding a lead at this time?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, that was a lot of hands, so we will update this with Jay as the lead for this project. Jay, it is not a requirement, but it is a recommendation that you plan to hand off the lead role after 6 months.
okay. Oh, look at that! John left. He was like, "I'm out. I'm not going
He
to
raised his hand first. He raised his hand first. He did.
I love it. Okay. Yes. Hand it off in 6 months. I will begin grooming my replacement here shortly.
And that's moreover like, so that way you're not on the hook for always hosting meetings for 6 months straight.
Mhm.
But that you can, after a period of time, if this project is still ongoing,
Mhm.
you can switch to a contributor role,
Right.
and just kind of free up a different brain space at that point.
Yeah. No, I think it totally makes sense to operate in that fashion.
Okay.
Also, it's nice to have a light at that, like this commitment ends at this time, regardless of like, I still will be involved with the project, but yeah. That's nice. Um,
I'm going down the list, checking boxes on the issue right now.
Oh, okay.
So I put my name in the wrong spot on the list, but issue needs to be assigned to me, apparently. Cool. Scope and deliverables. I think we should capture those in a in the README, the pseudo charter that I talked about. Then you have a project schedule, so that's helpful.
We do.
Right, the time and day thing.
Oh, is that what that meant? Okay. See, I wasn't sure. I thought that was like we have a plan for schedule for we're going to complete the work.
Oh, yeah, probably that might be what that meant. I didn't write this. All right. So the next thing to do would be to kind of draft up a README, add it to the repo. Is that something you guys want to do collaboratively, or Jay, do you want to just kind of crack open a PR and the group can review it?
I'll go the PR route. I
Okay.
feel confident.
So for now, the location for that is tag security / community / working groups. There'll be a new one in there. Go ahead and name it. So not all efforts have taken advantage of this, but I think that it'll be good for this one to, like, so that way we have it clearly codified, doing like the charter in this space kind of thing. Especially if we're looking to do cross group interactions, having a README that says this is what we're trying to do and this is how we're trying to do it will be really helpful.
Which one? Community.
Community / working groups. And if you look at the supply chain security one, that might be a good example. Controls is just like real short, quick, right?
You said supply chain?
Yeah, supply chain is compliance working group is a little bit longer.
Mhm.
I would say try to keep it real snappy.
Okay.
If you can.
Mhm.
And you might drill into that whole like, hey, we're doing this in 2 steps thing, you know. When we're done with the research phase, we will do a white paper.
Gotcha.
Just kind of write that down, and that'll be that. I mean, that's the last piece for housekeeping. We need to schedule the meeting, merge in that PR, and then just do the work, right?
Yep. Sweet. Okay. Feel like that's good enough for today. I see shaking heads and silence. So I'm going to go with, that's probably
Is
good.
there anything else? Is there anything else you wanna touch on? Like, what's the next step for the like research and experimentation? Like, what's that going to look like? Just have another meeting and do a focus session on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. I think that would be the next session. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think there's a lot of energy behind this idea. I think a lot of people are feeling the same pain point. We just got to figure out next steps. This is good. I like it.
Well, Beans, I will see you next time in a LFX project meeting.
Yeah, I have a very poor history of actually submitting service desk requests, so don't believe that I've done it until I tell you that I've done it.
All right. I see. I was saying it this way, to kind of.
Yeah, I heard that.
Right? Yeah.
I heard that. All right, I'm gonna go find some lunch.
Same.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.